Hey everybody, thanks for joining me on my live stream. I've been out running around and just got back in, so I thought I would do some more playing with Blender and thought we'd do it together. My wife has a little project she wanted me to do, so now's a good time to experiment with Blender and see if I can create some replacement feet for a little wrought iron chair that my wife is restoring. So shouldn't be too hard. They're just little bitty black plastic feet. I don't have black, so we're going to do it in white PLA, but I think it'll be okay. Before we get started with that though, I wanted to do a little poking around Blender and show you a couple of the things that I found earlier today. And I do this on Blender 2.79 as well, so I thought as I went through 2.8 and set it up, I'd take you along, that way you could see what I do. So let's get started with that. Well, before we get started, I do want to ask, you take the time to hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get this channel to grow, so appreciate every subscriber that I can get. I've got quite a few this week, so it's coming along pretty well. After that, let's go ahead and share the screen and see if we can get into Blender a little bit. Alright, so we're going to go over here. Blender. Blender. Okay, now let me also something here so I can see chat. And I'll say hello to everybody. I got Mike Whaley in there and Don, Turning Nerd, and Minnesota Maker. I've already said hi to you guys, and Never Let the Machines Win, and LTMW. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully we'll get a few more to join. So let's see, it looks like you can see that, so okay, so anyway, here's the new Blender. We looked at it this morning with Ricky, and I was excited. I've been tinkering with it off and on as I've had a chance, so we have, I apologize if I look away. I gotta bring the chat up while I'm sharing the screen, and it's up above, and I'm not in the habit of having to keep up with that, so I will do my best. Anyway, so here's the new Blender. The first thing that I love about it is the fact that this plane just goes on forever. You could go into the old Blender and set the size of the plane and make it bigger, but I always hated that it had to be adjusted. So that's the first thing I love about it. And then go, like I have in some of my other videos, I always say that I like to operate in Ortho View, and that's the 5 on the number pad. Should be. There we go. That's just, you got ortho and you got perspective, and I might use that robot at some point, Mike, but not right now. I got enough to keep track of. Ortho and perspective views. Perspective, you get I don't know, it's more of a 3D view, but it's not, I don't know what you would call it. I just like Ortho View because everything's squared up and in proportion to reality, not your perspective. So I operate in Ortho View. I always take the light, unless I'm doing animation and stuff with it. I always get rid of the light. That's something on the screen I don't ever need. And again, if I'm not doing animation, I'm not going to need this camera, so I click on it and delete it. And then I usually start in top view, which is 7 on the keypad, the number pad. This is how I always start. Well, and then I also start with no cube, so I'll delete that. This is the way I like to start. Everything nice and fresh and clean. Once you've done this, you can go up here to File, scroll down, and Save Startup File. Now every time you start a new file, it should open this way. And then not. Let's begin then. I know it works because I did it earlier. We'll delete the camera, delete the cube, delete the light, and go to top view. Okay, let's try this again. So we have File, Save Startup File, Current File, the default blend file. That's what I want. Oh, I must not have clicked it the second time. Let's see if that did it. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Dawn. Yeah, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Okay, so now we've got us a clean slate here. I've also been poking around and screencast keys that they used to have that Ricky uses in his videos. They still don't maintain that script. Still out there, but I could not get it to work, and I got to looking around and I found another one. I'm going to show you how to get it in case you ever need it and put it in here. That will help any videos that I'm doing on the Blender Basic series, or maybe some of my live streams like this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Edit, down to Preferences, and then I'm going to click on Add-ons, and then I'm going to come down here and say Install Add-on from File. Okay, now I have already downloaded it. I should have the link in the description below, but I edited it and I dropped that link in there after I had actually fired the stream up, so I'm not sure if the link is there yet. It seemed to have gone in there, but it may not. If it's not there, it will be in there once the stream ends, and I will double check it once the stream is over to make sure it's there, and if it's not, I will put it there. That link I put on my desktop. Give me just a second. Let me close this down for just a second. Oh, okay. I put it in the folder with Blender. So let's try that again. Edit, Preferences, add-ons. All under 8, and then it's view screen. VUR. I don't know what the R is for, but if I remember right, the guy said he was calling it view screen. But I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to select the init pi. Should be there. Now if I go into search and I do VUR, there it is, and I turn it on and save my preferences. Okay. Now over here, there it is, shortcut VUR, viewer. Oh, screen viewer. That's what it is. That's what it is. So now if I hit start shortcut viewer, down here you get your messages that tells whatever buttons you hit. So what the hell, Mike? I'm trying, man. I feel a little better. Not as nervous as I was on the last one. So anyway, we have this up and running. Still have not been able to get the 3D printing tab to work that Ricky found this morning. I installed it, and it says it is a add-on that is endorsed, official. It was an official add-on through Blender, so I would have thought that one would have worked, but it's got a glitch in it. I'm sure they'll fix it at some point. But anyway, the screen capture was a lot easier, or screen viewer. Alright, so those are the things that I've found today. Also, well, I'll show you after we get done here. Let's see if I can do a little quick design on this foot and get it printed, and then we will I'll switch back to the camera and hang out a little bit while it prints. So first thing I need to do, the legs on this thing are, it's kind of like a wrought iron chair. It's got two 8mm rods that come together as the leg. So let's see if I can do this here. I want to add a mesh cylinder. Don't have my little screen that pops up over here normally. And let's go to object mode for now. I stay in object mode as much as I can because there's less chance I'm going to accidentally drag a face or an edge or a vertices out of place. Kind of clumsy around this thing. So we've got, gonna give me my measurements? Yes. Z, I'm gonna make that 25mm. No, damn. A lot more responsive than 2.79. Okay, so the rods are 8mm. 5mm. It's an 8mm round. Okay, I'm going to go back to the top view, and two of them are welded together to form the leg. So I'm going to go Shift D, Enter. That should have give me the second one. Did not. Okay, let's try it again. Maybe I didn't have it highlighted. Try it, Shift D, Enter. Did that give me a second? That gave me a second one. I must not have highlighted it. These two rods are welded together on the chair. So I'm just creating my normal tool that I like to use. Touching. Definitely be touching. Okay, so I'm going to take this one. New modifier. Union. Now if I take the other cylinder, delete it, I should be one that's named cylinder. My rename. You just double click it now. Okay, so we're going to call this the leg. I can save that. Okay. Out of the way. Gives me my tool. Hey, Mr. Buttram, thank you for joining. We are doing some playing with the new blender, and I am trying to make some little plastic feet for a chair for my wife as we learn it. In the beginning, I went through some of the things that I did on my other blender to set up just to make it more convenient. One of them being including these screencast keys down here. It's not the original blender version, but I actually wasn't watching. Has it been putting stuff up, guys? Hopefully it has. Okay, so now I need to make the plastic foot, and these are 8mm diameter, so let's see how I want to do this. This is going to be new to me, so bear with me. Say a mesh. Cylinder. Eight and 18. 2mm. Millimeter skin around it, maybe. All right, Mr. Buttram, be safe on your way home. Thank you for stopping in. Okay, so let's say 16mm across here, and let's add 2mm of thickness. So that's 18 and 20. So we're going to make the X 20. Work. Not gonna work. Make it, let's go this way, 8mm across, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's make it 12. And let me measure real quick how tall these are. See if I can find one that the bottom's not wore out of, so I can get a rough estimate here. This one's worn pretty good, but it's at least a complete piece, and it's 14 millimeters. So let's make it 16 millimeters so that the bottom is thick. Okay. Now, the problem is this has to fit in that. Now I tried this in the other blender. I tried to make two of them and use the Boolean modifier, and for some reason it did not want to work. It was not doing what I wanted. So I'm going to try this in edit mode. I'll take this one here and I'm going to hide it by turning the eyeball off. Out of my way. And let's see. Let's go into edit mode if we can. Tab. Here's this edit mode. Okay. Should take that off. It did not. Edit mode. It is highlighted. The double tap worked, but the Control A was supposed to work. Okay, so we'll double tap. Alright, now I should be able to select all of those, hit extrude E, X direction, $12, $20, extrude it 8 millimeters, enter. Okay. Like, huh, oh no, that didn't work. Missing some pieces. Mike, what'd you let me do that for? Okay, that's alright. We still have Control Z. See? I see what we got here. Well, some of them didn't get highlighted. Hold the shift down. Select the ones that are missing. There we go. Alright, let's try it one more time. So now we're going to E for extrude, X for the direction, 8 millimeters, enter. Let's see what we got now. Did that work? Worked. Okay, now we'll go back to object mode. That looks like kind of what I was going for. Now let's bring back the leg. Rename this to, I don't know, cap. Because it's a plastic cap. And then this. Let me get my height adjusted, so let me go to the front view. Let's raise it up. I want it kind of thick on the bottom. Centered. Still do the center. Used to be Shift S. Selection to cursor. Cursor's in the middle of that side. So let's offset it 4. Wrong way. One, same thing. Let's Shift S, move the selection to cursor, and then minus 4. No, that's not going to be the same. Yeah, that one needed to be 4. This one needs to be 10. 5, because it's 10. Minus 5. Well, no. Maybe not. Look better at minus 4. Let's zoom in here and count the squares. That's where that grid comes in handy. Now we're centered. There's 2, and there's 2. Oh, we're in center here because we can see the line. So we're good there. Alright, now let's raise this up. Each one of these squares, this should be, each one of these squares is 1 millimeter. That comes in handy. Hey Walter. Hey Dee. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. We're just doing a little bit of playing. We're just doing a little playing with the new Blender 2.8. I'm trying to get some practice with live streaming. Son of a gun. I didn't realize I had my picture up there on the screen. Okay, so let's see, let me turn the cap off. We will take this and raise it up. How many was it? 1. Right now. Give it to 3 millimeters of bottom. Pretty thick, maybe it'll last a little while. Alright, so we have them both. Now, hopefully, if everything works out well. And hi Matt, Jake from State Farm. Good to see you, thank you for coming. So if everything works out now, I should be able to go back to my normal practice in object mode and select the foot and do a Boolean modifier. Difference, which is delete leg from the cap, and hit apply. Keep your fingers crossed. Let's see if I can move this out, and we should have a cavity in there. I hope. Okay, that was weird. Wonder why it only did that. Let's try this. Let's rotate on the Z-axis 180. That didn't work so well. Boy, I've got a mess going now, don't I? Wonder what happened. Okay. Still have this. I have that. I don't know why it's... Try it again. Let's rotate that 180. Z180. Okay. I have a hole there. Alright, well, let's see what it does. Let's go back down in the hole and we'll cheat it. One thing I do like, there's a lot of ways to get the same operation done. Sometimes you just gotta fake it till you make it. So we're just gonna offset it. Since this one seems to be the only one drilling a hole in my plastic cap, let's offset it another 8 to the left. So let's make it -12. Enter. And let's give that a try. So I'm going to select the cap, Boolean modifier, beat with the difference, leg, and apply. I probably blew it all apart, but let's see what happens. Okay. Up. Okay. It messed it all up. Control Z steps you back. Alright, let's try this another way. Control Z. Keep going. That's something else I need to do. I'll show you a little trick that helps me out because I make so many mistakes. Let's go into Edit, Preferences, Interface. Oh, this is one thing I turn off, is Show Splash Screen. And then Editing. Yeah, Global Undo. I'm going to take that sucker up to 100. I think it starts out at like 32. I've had times where 32 undos was not enough to get me back to something safe. So we're turning that up. So I got plenty of undos there. It just controls how many levels you can step backwards out of your mistakes. Okay, so let's keep going back until I get back to where I've got 2 good pieces. Surely by there. There we go. Okay, so we're going to try this a different way. Turn this leg off, and I sure don't know why that's a different color right now, but okay, so let's create just one of the 8mm rods. We're going to take that, we're going to make a cylinder, and we're going to make 8. That's the diameter. I'm going to make it 20 tall. Okay, 1 for the front view, and I'm going to bring it up. Meters. There. Okay, so now we're going to move it over. We're going to move it this way for the X. We're going to cut a hole with this one, hopefully. So I select the cap, Boolean modifier, select the difference. What am I going to use? I'm going to use my new cylinder. Apply. I'm going to go back over here and make it go over -12. Didn't select the cylinder. 4. It's +4 right now. So I need to go back to 0 and then back another 4. So that's -4. And let's try it again. Select the cap. Boolean modifier. Difference. Cylinder. Apply. Now if I take the cylinder, out of there. Did I forget to hit difference? I hit difference. Cap, modifier, boolean. Must have hit something wrong. Apply. Nope. Well, this is frustrating. I don't know if it's something in the new blender, because this was pretty easy in the other blender. All the keys and everything seem to be the same. Any ideas, guys? Any other ways you think of doing it in the old blender? I am definitely not an expert in Blender, so I'm trying to learn it. I feel like I'm making some progress, but this thing acting up is kind of a kick in the head. Let's try something. Why is that not deleting it? Okay. All right. Let's try something else. Let's see if we can rotate this. Let's leave that where it was, where it worked. And rotate the axis. .80. Okay. Now let's see if we can center this back up. Shift S, selection to cursor. Shift S, selection to cursor. Go back to the front view. 3 millimeters on the bottom. So there's one. Try it again. There's the cap, modifier, difference, apply. Work. There's not an extra piece hanging out. That's a good sign. Hey, that worked. Okay, so now we're done with that. We can delete it. And done with the leg. Work. And we can delete it. This up above. Okay. Seems to work. Let me pull it over to wireframe. They've moved that button on me now. I gotta find it again. Object mode, view, select. Like we got a pretty thick bottom here. Double leg should go down in it. Be able to print it pretty clean. So let's give that a try. Let me see if I can, let's save as. Chair cap. .blend. And desktop. Create a new folder. Under 2.8 files. That way I don't get them mixed up with all my other files, because Ricky found out this morning you cannot open these with Blender 2.79. So we'll just keep them separate from each other. Alright, now let's see if we can export it as an STL. Looks like there's a couple extra formats in there. Export it to I should have STL files on there. Yep, STL file. We'll call it chair cap. Export. Okay, keep your fingers crossed. We'll hope that's going to work. We'll give it a test run here. I don't think it'll take a long time to print, so let me go down. We're done with Blender. Yes, and let's bring up here. See, I'm still running 3.0. It's such a nice job, but I do feel confident now that I can transfer all the numbers over, and I think it's going to work just fine. I just haven't taken the time to do it yet. Okay, so let's bring that file in. Open. It's a mic stand. I'll show you that in a minute. Nobody's going to like it but me, but that's okay. Chair cap. Drive. Only going to take 16 minutes. Eject. Go. Alright, give me just a second and I'll pop this in the... Well, I can go ahead and switch over. Let me go ahead and close this. Here. That. And I'll bring this back. Better. Breaking my neck up on that 70-inch TV and having to try to read everything, so. Uh-oh. Am I missing something? Nope. Okay. And don't forget to subscribe before I turn it off. Okay. Now I'm going to pop over here. Let me bring up the other camera so you can see both. And let me pop this in and let's see what we get. Alright, she's off and running. And let me see if I can turn another light on. Maybe it'll show up a little better if it doesn't affect the other camera. Okay. So we'll see how that works out. And now I'll show you the project I was working on last night. Mike, that you saw me printing. I ran out of super glue, so I still got 2 pieces that I got to put glue on, but let's see if I can get this out here where you can see it. It's huge. And over there we go. It's a mic stand. I tried to mimic some of the old vintage mic stands that I saw some pictures of. If you don't know, I'm also an extra class ham radio operator, so I've always been into that kind of stuff. And it's bright green. That's what I figured nobody's gonna like, but I like it. I like bright colors. They make me happy. I like the yellow, and I like this fluorescent green. Matter of fact, Amazon just came because it took me most of a roll to print that thing. That's the biggest thing I've ever printed. So this is the PaPaw's Project math. If you use 1 roll, you need to buy 2 more. So for every roll I use, I need to buy 2. See? That works out in the end. Trust me, it's good math. I'm starting to get a pretty good selection. Let's see, I got 2 and a piece of green and about 1/3 of yellow. I still got that aqua blue from 3D Solutech. I got a white, which is on there right now. And then I got kind of a dirty white, the TPU. That was 3D Hero, 3D Strong Hero, maybe? Hang on. Flexible white, Strong Hero 3D. It seemed to do alright. I didn't have any real issues with it. I had to turn the temperature up on it a lot, but it seemed to do good once I got it dialed in. It'll probably do better now that I've got all my settings figured out. So, about some neon orange. Yeah, I'm waiting. I need some red. I really need some red. I got a project that I want to do in red. My wife, she likes those little red trucks with a Christmas tree hanging in the back, and she wants a red truck, so that's one of the future projects I'm going to work on, see if I can make for her, but I don't have red. I'm waiting on it to be on sale. Can't hardly find the $10 filament anymore, but I think these were $16, but only certain colors. It just happened I liked the green and it was on there. So there we go. She's getting ready to home and take off. I'm getting a collection. All except for that one 3D Solutech is all the Sunlu filament. I do like the way it prints. I don't have a lot of experience, and I've not tried anything other than the one Solutech and the one Strong Hero. But I just get so good results out of the Sunlu. I've just kind of been sticking with that. Eventually I'll venture out when I catch one on sale where I can try it cheaply, and that way if I don't like it I'm not at a loss. $13 a roll and a 15% off code. Where's that? Is that through Amazon? Place on eBay? Well, I'm kind of in a pickle with eBay right now. We're in a battle, so I can't really buy anything on eBay until we get settled up. we sold stuff on eBay. A lot of you know, vintage collectible stuff, and they just started changing all the rules and opened it up that they was making you take returns, and they could do a return even if you didn't want to. They made you take it for any reason, and we had people that were buying stuff, and we sold an old purse. It was an old Coach purse. I don't know, we sold it for like 70 bucks. It was a high-end purse. The person cut the labels and the zippers and the tags and stuff off of it with the serial number and sent it back and demanded their money back, and we told them no, and eBay sided with them. So I was like, no, that's not going to get it. Hang on a second. Looks like Nightbot nailed you. I haven't got all this stuff set up yet. I'm still trying to work all the bugs and learn. There's so many little settings here and there. I did get Nightbot turned on this time, and I did get my mic unmuted this time, so that's progress. Alright, D, you should be good now. So every time I do this, hopefully I'll make more progress and it'll get better and better. Definitely want to get into the live streaming because I want to get my watch time up. I'm coming up on 800 subscribers, so that just keeps inching along. Finish, D? Robbie Mac wants to know. Uh-oh. Robbie Mac, are you in trouble with Nightbot again? What's up with that? Oh, too many capital letters. Too many capital letters. What was the other one? That one shouldn't have got canceled. Beep, 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 boop. Stop spamming caps. Oh, is that what it was? Yeah, you had a heck of a time, Robbie Mac, the other night when we were streaming. That Nightbot just doesn't like you, man. But I do, so it's okay. I'm not in trouble. I'm not typing caps. Your wingman was in here earlier and had to leave. The bot keeping you down, huh? I need to get back. On my printer build. I got a couple things coming up for some extra money. I'm going to buy some aluminum extrusion and some wheels. I'm not going to use those wheels in the extrusion that I had. It's dragging the project out way too long, and I can just buy the extrusion and the wheels to fit it and get that thing up and running. And I want to make it so that I can retrofit a laser on there. I want it to have a print head, but I also want to be able to put a laser on there too. So a whole nother learning curve. Grandsons are fun. I got 14 grandkids. We used to take them all. Once a month we would take them all and let them spend the night. And then they got a little bigger. So then it went down to we could only have 5. And then they got bigger. And now it's down to 2. There's only allowed to be 2 stay at a time because me and Grandma cannot keep up with 5 or 14 by any means. Yeah, I'm going to look into that, D. I know you said they had wheels for those. So when I get ready and I have the money, I'm going to look at both options, the V-Groove and the ones that you had sent me the links to. The T-slot ones, is that what you have your laser on? And it works good. No shaving or anything. Are they rubber coated wheels or are they just metal wheels? Oh man, you don't have to do that. I appreciate it, but you're already sending me that other stuff. I don't want you sending me all that stuff. You gotta keep some of that stuff for yourself. But it's appreciated. And I did get your Discord link for that item we were working on yesterday, so I'll check that later. I just been busy today and haven't had a chance. Smooth running, plastic, and don't shave. Well, thank you, D. I sure appreciate that. I would definitely check them out. You're the man on the lasers. I'm definitely going to be picking your brain all the way through that one. I've got the Arduino. I've got the. Well, my glasses are all out of whack. I stepped on them this morning. I got the, right, they run on T-slot, not V-slot. I got the Arduino and I've got the ramps board already set up and ready to roll. Oh, and I also, a couple days ago, I got my motor in that I've been waiting on for my direct drive extruder. I haven't got it all put together yet, but this is the, it was supposed to be the Pancake Motor, and it is, but it's what I ordered, and it's skinnier, it's narrow, well, what do you want to call it, taller, thinner, to be mounted on the carriage. I was thinking less weight, didn't need that much torque, so I bought this one, but I really was expecting it to be a little thinner. Let me see if I can grab one of the original motors, and let's see how thin it is compared to the others. Okay, so this is the original motor. It actually has, well, the camera's here somewhere. Actually has my old Ender 3 plastic extruder on it, but we can see how it is. Let's see. Yeah, I was expecting it to be half. Not half. It's probably 5 or 6 millimeters thinner. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't worth it. It wasn't very expensive. I'd have to look it up and see what it was, but it had to come over on the slow boat, so. They had a lot of them that are Pancake motors, but they were all like 5 volts and 3 volts, and none of them were 12 volts. And I actually didn't know it was coming over on the boat. I didn't read enough. I thought it was here in America and I'd have it in a couple days, and I was wrong. Yes, sir, Don. That glass, I'm tickled pink. I wish I'd have done that sooner. And they pop right off. Mike, I hate to say it, but I don't know how in the heck you break those mirrors getting those off. Mine comes off just like nothing. I got a little bitty, I don't know what it is. It's some kind of little spatula thing that I found out in the garage. It's super thin and super small, and I just slip that under around the edge and she just falls off. I know you've cracked a couple mirrors trying to chisel it off, and it seems like I remember you having to hammer a couple prints off the glass. I run both T and V slots are nice, but they tend to get dirty and bump along unless you make sure they're spotless clean. T slots, less contact area, and as long as they're not super tight. Yeah, see, the T-slot style, that's kind of what I was working with the wheels I was making. Let me, let's see here. There you go. T-slot, you know. This is not for a V groove. It's straight edges. And it fits right in there. And the extrusion, I've got, God, I don't know, I've probably got 30 feet of this extrusion. And I thought, man, I need to take advantage of that. It's free. But getting a mount made, you know, on the enders, the mount for the bearings is steel. And you can thread it, and you know, it's easy to work with. But and there's John trolling for dollars. How you doing? Thank you for coming in. But my problem, let me get the other piece to it and I'll show you. Here's the piece I made. For the wheels to go on. Get it in a way that you can see it. Okay. And I got it in a design, too much light here. Got it in a design, 2 rollers on top and 1 on the bottom. And I had it so that I could put my rollers on, and this is my second version. First one was probably 5 millimeters, too much space between the bottom and the top, so it wasn't touching on all 3 rollers, so I redid it and made it the right size, and it fit perfect. I could put 3 rollers on this thing and it fit just perfect. But then I tried to put the locking screws in, which I decided, hold on, there we go. My plan was I left holes and splits in it so that I could swedge it out with a small screw, and that would bind on the bearing and hold it in. But they weren't strong enough. I put a screw in that first one right here, and when I did, it worked for a little bit, but once I got all the way to the bottom, and I don't know, maybe I didn't make the hole deep enough or something, but it just snapped right off, and I was so frustrated I wanted to throw it. And I had to make it, I made it thick, knowing that it had to have some torque. I didn't want this flexing. And this is where I was going to mount the hot end. I hate the camera being backwards. I always go the wrong direction. Anyway, I was going to put holes in this and mount my extruder. But even with it thick, it's got a little bit of bend to it. So I just didn't think it was going to hold the tolerance. So I don't know, I got fed up with that idea and just haven't done any more with it, and I need to get back to it. Then my next design that I planned after that failure, I thought, okay, well, I'll make one that is contoured, because I had to show you. I had to put these standoffs so long on it so that it would clear, because this extrusion is so round, that the bearings had to go way back. So there's a lot of distance. Let's see if I can, there we go. A lot of distance that has to be covered get those bearings back to the center of the extrusion. And the farther out you get, the more leverage all the mechanism has to get this thing to twist and warp and get sloppy. So that didn't work out so well. So then the next thing I was going to do was I was going to make that same kind of plate and the same kind of pins and just a different locking system. And I was going to contour the plate to go around curve with short stubs to put the bearings on, and then print something else to put my extruder on later, make like a two-piece carriage. But I haven't got back to it, and I was like, man, the wheels and extrusion's not that much money, and once I get those, I have every single thing I need to build it. I've got the belts and the pulleys and the idlers. All the electronics is here, all the motors are here, extra motor leads, so I'm ready to put that thing together. So I guess I'm giving up on the from scratch part completely. The free stuff, I guess. It's still going to be from scratch. It's just not going to be free. I'm buying more parts. It'll be nice. It'll be, the whole frame is going to be 600 by 600, and the build capacity will be 500 by 500, so by 500 cubed. I think that'll make a nice laser. I can print some big stencils, and actually that was another thing. The wife's on board with the laser because I don't even have to print the stencils. I can throw a sheet of plastic up there and I can cut. Sorry about that. I can cut the plastic stencils a lot easier than even printing them. So I'm looking forward to that. Let me catch up on chat here. Don't use plastic posts. 5mm screws and spacers. Yeah, that's a good idea. I haven't. 2020 extrusion 1 meter long is under $10. Alright, Don. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it, man. Get to bed. I'll probably see you tomorrow. You have a 500 by 500 by 650 you made from parts. Yeah, I'm going to be talking to you. I'm going to be picking your brain because I'm going to make this thing happen. Michael Castle, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. We're just kind of hanging out and talking now. We did a little bit of playing with Blender 2.8, and I showed a couple of the things that I do to set it up at the beginning, and then we designed a plastic cap to go on a chair that just now finished printing. I'm going to go pop it off here in a second, and we'll check that out. And then we were talking about my build from scratch, where that's at. It's about time to get that project moving along again. It's coming. I just got to do a little more research and get a little bit of money, and it'll get there. Alright. Now, tool I got. I don't know if you can see it on here. Can you see it here? Bring it over to the other camera. I don't even know what this is. It was in my toolbox. I've had it for 30 years probably. I think what it is, God, I hate moving this camera the wrong direction. I think what it is a tool that I used to use when I would rebuild automatic transmissions. Used it kind of like a shoehorn when you were putting things into seals, rubber seals, where I could go around and make sure that I did not pinch or kink any rubber seals. But I don't know what it is originally. It's just a little bitty, very thin, very strong stainless steel spatula on both ends. This end's squared off, this end's rounded. But it's so much thinner than the putty knife that came with my printer. It goes right in there. Now watch this, Mike. I'm not going to break any glass. Pop the brim loose first. Hot. I don't think I've let one cool and tried it. Yes, badonkadonk. Alright, so strip the little brim off of it. What's the matter, princess? Go play. Lay down. And we got our holes. I hope that's gonna work. Got a little bit of material in the middle there. Let me go get the chair. We'll see what it does. Okay, let's see here. How can I do this? Work? Oh yeah, we should be alright because these legs thread. They're welded right here. Crossbar. But from here out, there's no weld. So I can spread them apart, and then a bit of material still there that I did not want should not cause us a problem. But I did not leave enough clearance. I made them exactly 8 millimeters. Not leave a clearance hole for it. That sucks. So, oh well. I'll work on it some more later. I'll either drop another cylinder down in there and raise it out to like 8.1 or 8.2 millimeters, or I'll just take a stupid drill and drill them out. I don't know. I don't think it's going to work. You know, she's going to paint the chair, and then I put these new feet on there, and that should turn out good. It'll look like brand new. And let's see. Ed, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You did that totally wrong. And he's a big hammer and a real sharp chisel. And when you get ready to hit it, you gotta hit the socker hard. Hit the socker hard, huh? I try to use a little finesse, Mike. I got lucky I didn't break the mirror when I cut it. I don't want to push my luck. I thought about that, D. I thought about printing it in TPU, but I was afraid the weight of somebody sitting on that chair and that being a flexible, soft material, I was afraid it would just tear the bottom right out of it. I don't know how strong that TPU is. I could put it on there and give it a try, and then it would stretch right over. But do you think it would actually hold? You know? If somebody... I mean, it's a woman's chair for a little vanity or a desk or something, but I've seen some pretty big women. You know, I think it needs to hold up to me sitting on it. I'm a big boy. If you think it'll work, I'll give it a try. The next one I print, I'll print out a TPU. I'll bump it open just a hair, and then I'll reprint it in TPU, and see what it looks like. Maybe I'll even, since I got to go back in there anyway, maybe I'll just soften up these edges. Because the originals were rounded over. Originals were rounded over. Kind of wore, but I didn't really care as long as it looked new. Once I sell it, it don't matter to me. Nobody else's problem then. I don't know what the we talked about the shore hardness, was it, on TPU? I don't know what this is. Doesn't say. Just says 230 to 250 degrees. Accuracy of 0.05 white. All it says. Tolerance of 0.05. That's one thing I like about the Sunmoo. It's got a, theirs is a tolerance of 0.02. I have not had one bit of trouble with it. I sent them a letter today. I pulled the Dawn on them. I was like, yeah, I got some projects that I'm wanting to work on, and I sure would love to evaluate your filament. Feel like donating some to the channel so I can review it. They probably never will answer, but you know, it never hurts. It'll go to their spam filter, they'll never see it. But it's worth a shot. You never know, they might send me something. Oh boy. Well, it wasn't a total disaster. That's right, the worst they can say is no. I didn't have it before I sent the message. I don't feel so restricted now though. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rolls of filament, so I'm getting a collection, and I know I'm getting at least one more for Christmas. I don't know what color it'll be, but I put it on my wish list at Amazon, and I saw it's gone, so somebody bought it. I think my son. He sent me a text wanting to know what size. So I have some options to pick from. When I got down on that yellow, I got down to about a little over half a roll gone. I started sweating. Decided I needed it somehow. What's our time getting to be? I don't even know what time we started the stream. Hour and a half ago. That's not bad. I figured 2 hours. Figured an hour for the video and then an hour for Mr. Buttram and Robbie Mack. The last stream we closed it down and they hung out for quite a while. I don't know how long it was, but we were on here for quite a while. Just chatting after the stream had shut down. Got to get me some super glue and glue this mic stand together. In case there's anybody that didn't see it. Let's pull it back here. I did tweet it out with a picture of kind of what I was trying to mimic. I had the mic on a boom, one of those spring arm booms. And in my videos, I know you can hear it. This chair's got to go next. But I know you could hear it that I would bump the boom and those springs would be going doing. I hated that. So I found a shock mount. There was just this without the riser. But it was so flimsy it just flopped around. So I kind of took that one and modified it and really thickened it up and put the riser in it to get it up where I normally keep it. I normally keep it right here, high. It's that far away from me. Hopefully the audio is doing okay. And it might get a little noise just because of the fact that I still got two pieces to glue, but hopefully it's not. That's alright, Robbie. It's no biggie. I was kidding. I want to add something to the top of that mic. I want to put the sample I put on Twitter shows a badge that goes across the top that says on air. And originally I had that in my mind that I was going to make that. That's another reason I want red if I go that way. But then part of me thinks maybe I should put Papaw's Project on a badge. Papaw's Projects on a badge. Put it across there. But I don't know. That might have to go all the way around, so that might not look good. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I wanted to test a big print, one that was going to run. I think it took 17, 18 hours to print the base, and the riser was like 14 hours, or vice versa. That's the longest I've ever run one. And 3 of the pieces was 190 millimeters, so almost the max capacity. Michael Castle, I'd do Papaw, just Papaw by itself. I thought of that too. I like it. I put some, I got a whole pile of, these are felt. So on the glass top, it's not plastic on the glass, and it's not making scraping noise. Hang on just a second. Dixie, you don't need to be bothering the people. Hush. Come on. Hush. No. Those are my guard dogs. If anybody walks down the street, they're all over it. Anyway. I printed the knob at the top of that riser to hold the ring last night and broke it. I was talking to Mike and Dee and everybody and I was working on it. Tried to push it in a little too hard. I didn't have enough clearance. I broke that sucker, so I went back in and edited it and printed it, and it fit absolutely perfect. It just slid right in. So I'm getting used to how much tolerance I need. It just takes practice. Get your piece of plexi. Any color. Yeah, that's a good idea. But it's going to be a little bit before I have the laser up and running. I'm kind of excited. I can't wait to get that started. Like dogs, only smaller? Yeah. They don't think they're dogs. I don't know if you can... Let's see here. Big one there, that's Sasha. He's the good dog. The little black one, that's Dixie. She's the baby dog. The little white one, the jealous one, yeah. This one here is a rescue that we found on an abandoned porch in a town about 10 miles away. She was living on somebody's porch. There was an abandoned couch or a scrap couch laying on the porch, and somebody found her hiding in there, and she was a skeleton, and she didn't have any brown spots on her. She was totally white, only had probably a third of the hair she has now. And we got her and fed her, and when she fattened up and got healthy, all the brown started coming in. She's still a ratty old chihuahua, but she's the princess. This is Princess Lily. And then the Jack Russell up there in the back, he's the butthead. He always has to be difficult. He doesn't like to listen. He does his own thing. There you go. Go play. Next project is laser CNC that uses a head and holds a Dremel. I've actually started a CNC project with my son. Yeah, Jack Russell. Sam is a Jack Russell. Jack Russell terrorist. Yeah, I started a CNC. I built the table and the framework for the slats and stuff, and got all the information for the control board and the motors. What is it? NEMA 23 motors. I think it was NEMA 23 motors. And we have a plasma cutter between me and my son. We took all our tools and combined them, and I took all the woodworking tools in my shop, and he took all the metalworking tools, and we moved them to his shop. Have keys to each other's shop, so if I need to do metalwork, I just go over there, and if he needs to do woodwork, he comes over here. I have worked on CNC plasma tables for 20 years in the factories. We wanted one of our own, but he has just been so busy for the last really year and a half that we haven't had a chance to make any progress on it. So that's why I got into the 3D printer, so I could continue my progress. I don't want to work on the other without him. That's kind of a me and him project. So whenever he gets time, we'll get back on that one. It'll be nice to have it though. Well, I think I've covered about everything I have for tonight. I just wanted to get in here and get a little more practice with the live stream. I feel like it went a little better than the last one. I feel better. And I think I kept up with almost everything. The countdown timer, you'll notice it. I don't know if anybody, Mike might have seen it. It was getting down to like 2 or 3 minutes, and then all of a sudden it changed it up to 7 or 8 minutes. I forgot to trigger the file that does the countdown, so I had to go back in there and fire that up. But I actually got Nightbot up and running, and I got what else? Stream labels. Nothing changed, but you have to run stream labels to get it to update who the newest subscriber was, or any donations or anything like that, the way I've got it set up. So I had to fire those up. I forgot all about the countdown timer, so I'll put that on my list of don't forgets, and hopefully the next one will be ready to roll right off the bat. I want the countdown timer to be just 5 minutes. People sitting around waiting forever, but that gives me a few minutes to get everything logged in and up and running. 7-axis tables. Now, I have not seen a 7-axis table. Are they plasma? I've worked on, what we had was 3-axis. We had 4. We had 2 400-watt machines that would do 5x10, all kinds of applications. Yeah, we had 2 tables that would do 5x10 flat steel, and then we had 2 tables that would do 11 by 21 foot stainless steel. Did I say the first ones were 400 watt or 400 amp? And then the 2 bigger ones, they were 1500 amp. And then we had banks of nitrogen, and we could cut stainless steel up to 3 inches thick with those. And then we had a 6-axis ASEA robot made by ABB Robotics. And I was the technician for them, and I was the trainer for programming. Well, actually on all of them. I trained on all those machines, trained the production guys. I miss those, and this brings back a lot of memories. All of the 3D printing and the G code and all that. I'm not ignorant to it. My memory's bad, so I've lost a lot of it, but it's coming back slowly, and there's a lot of things in there that I remember that I used to work with, and I loved it. I enjoyed it. I got so good with the ASEA robot that I used to just go in there for fun. I'd get bored with it, so I'd go in and change it over to a language that I didn't even know. I could change it to French or Dutch or whatever, Spanish or whatever, and I didn't know any of those languages, but I got so familiar and had all of the menus memorized so much that I could tell people. I used to do it. I'd change the language and go home on Friday, and then if anybody was working the weekend, they couldn't even turn it on. And they'd be calling me, and I'd be like, okay, push this button 3 times, and then push this one. Just playing, pranking the guys. I love going to FN here in Columbia. You can see machines running and making all the gun parts. Yeah, that'd be a blast. Be a blast. So those were good times. They had all of the ones that I worked on were not stepper motors. Stepper motors was a new animal to me. I knew about them, but we never worked on them. Ours had servos and tacks and encoders on all the table cutters. And then the 6-axis robot, it had resolvers. Let me turn this other camera off too. It had resolvers instead of encoders, which is basically an encoder, but it's analog. It puts out a sine wave instead of a pulse, and that was a neat setup. All of our servo flat table cutters, we ran in incremental measurement system instead of absolute. These are set up in absolute, where everything's referenced from 0, 0, 0. And all of our table cutters were incremental measurement, so they made all their moves based on wherever they were positioned. So instead of saying going to X1, Y1, Z1, it would be go from wherever you were, to move to the left a 1/4 inch or move up an inch or whatever, referenced from the last position, and then it saved that position, and you'd send a command to move from there, so a certain distance. And then we also had all of those computers. They were, let's see, we had an ESOB AutoPath, and we had some Bernie 5s. Using encoders. Yes, those were using encoders and tachometers. Positive feedback. They were a closed loop system versus these 3D printers. They're open loop. They send the command and say go 5 steps, but they don't actually know they went 5 steps. So it's okay for 3D printing, but anything more critical, you're going to get in trouble because they're going to skip steps. Encoders and tachs, you still skip steps, but the computer will compensate for it because it realizes, okay, I didn't make it to my destination, so it'll add another step or 2 or whatever it needs to get it there. And those are a lot harder to deal with because you got to calibrate the driver boards and stuff for the servos. And I was the one. I mean, they had other guys that tried to work on it, but usually they would just wreak havoc on it. It got to the point finally where they'd say, no, just leave it down till Ed gets here and then we'll go. So that made me feel good. But then your CNC uses them, yeah. large format printers. And like I said, the robot, it had resolvers. And that basically the same as an encoder, but it's an analog signal, and it counts the sine wave pulses. And because it's not an on-off pulse, it was much safer. It had continuous feedback 100% of the time. So if it had a glitch somewhere in that sine wave, it would fault out and tell you had a problem way before it was dangerous. And then our flat table cutters, they had, like I said, we used incremental measurement, and they had circular interpolation is what it was called. And I'm a little bit surprised that they don't have that in the 3D printers, but maybe you don't need it with servos, or because it's recording point to point to point. But circular interpolation, I learned to program G-code manually on the machine because the owners of the company would not shell out money for a CAD system. So all of the models and designs and everything, the templates that we cut, I designed it on paper and then hand typed every G-code in on the machine itself. And I got pretty darn good at it. But with circular interpolation, you had I and J codes, and I've not heard a word of I and J codes any of the 3D printing stuff. I and J is basically another version of X and Y for the radius point. So if you wanted to draw a circle, the code for a circle, let's say a 2-inch circle, code for the circle would be X0, Y0, I1, J0. And that told it start at 0, end at 0, do a circle coming back to 0 around a radius point 1 inch in the X direction. X, Y, I, and J for those. I don't know that one's better than the other, but it was just, that was a difference I noticed that I've never heard. I've watched some Gatton? Dave Gatton, I think it is, has some YouTube stuff where he makes CNC machines, cuts them out of plywood. So he made a CNC machine out of plywood and then uses it to cut more plywood, CNC machines, and then puts the electronic package together. And they've got a channel, and I watched it several times, and even they don't talk about the I and J codes. They got in depth to G code one time, and I didn't hear anything about it. But anyway, a lot of memories coming back. That was, oh God, I'm getting ready to turn 53. At that point, I was 23, and I was in charge of the entire maintenance department. So those were some fun times. But old, I got fat, I got blind, I lost my memory. So just falling apart. Had a rough life. A lot of 2 and 3 jobs, a lot of double shifts. Run myself into the ground. Young guy, you can't be far off from me, D. Older wise, anyway. I figured you were younger. Another thing that surprises me is how many things that I see on here that I have done that other people have done, you know. You're 3 years older. Well, that ain't far. I'm surprised, but that ain't far. It seems like so many of the people in this community has done vinyl cutting, sign work, the guns. I used to have an FFL gun dealer. Used to sell at the Indy 1500 gun show. Screen printing. I used to do screen printing. I don't know. I never let the grass grow under my feet. Always got to be doing something new and something different. I'm with you, buddy. Feel like 80. I'm really going to feel like 80 after this weekend. I'm dreading it. Some of you did drugs, huh? I never did drugs. I have to do them now. The doctor makes me, but we fight over it every time I go. I'm not a firm believer in too many drugs. I know they save lives, but I'm afraid doctors prescribe way more than people actually need. I have a doctor's appointment in January, and we're gonna have a battle over my cholesterol medicine, pravastatin, which I've been finding all kinds of information that's saying statins are bad for you. So, electronic tech for the Navy and communications. I don't know what PMEL tech is. I used to have a guy work for me that was an electronic technician from the Navy. Real good guy. Very sharp. Actually had two of them. One was better than the other one. I worked night shift with one. Art college was a long time ago. Nowadays it's baby aspirin for me. There you go. I take a low dose aspirin every day. 2 blood pressure pills. Cholesterol pill. And then medicine for anxiety attacks. That's why I tell Mike that, you know, I get rattled doing these live streams because I feel like I'm not prepared. I don't have everything covered, and I get rattled. OCD. I have OCD, ADD, and calibration tech. One of the Navy electronic technicians that worked for me, he's the one that got me through my extra class ham license. That got into, to get that last license, there was a lot of electronic theory that just was way over my head, and we sat there at night in between jobs and we'd study, and that guy knew his stuff. He got me through that license. Any of you ever heard of a phrase called Eli the Iceman? Yep, statin's gonna probably go here at the end of January, my next doctor's appointment. My cardiologist, when he found out I was taking it, he hiccuped on it, but he said, we'll wait till your next visit and we'll talk about it. Yeah, that Eli the Iceman I'd never heard nothing about that before. Those kind of things is what he give me. Those kind of tips is what he give me to get through that test. I'm licensed. I can have my own TV channel. I can do slow scan TV. I can do regular TV, black and white TV. I can do EME moon bounce. I can bounce signals off the moon and send it back. I can talk to the space shuttle. I can do satellite communications. I have the full license for all that, and I keep it up because I couldn't pass the test again. Yeah, I know. I did that, and I lost the keto diet. I lost 50 pounds, but I've kind of slipped. And I told the wife I got to get back on it. I crave Coke, Pop, Pepsi so bad. I'm doing pretty good though. This is just flavored water. Cherry pomegranate. And I do my best to stay off all the white stuff. It kills me. No mashed potatoes, no fried potatoes, no bread, no french fries. I have to say, it helps. Yep, soda's the worst. I'm trying really hard to not slip on that one because that one is killing me. When I was in charge of the maintenance department at the prison here, they ended up carrying me out of there. I sat down at my desk and I knew I was going out, and I yelled out to my secretary, "You need to dial 911," and then I hit the floor. I woke up in the back of the ambulance on the way to the hospital, and they ran me through a million different things and said they couldn't find nothing, which is good. They scanned me for blockages in my arteries in my neck and around my heart and all that stuff, and they said everything was negative, so that's good, but it wasn't good because they don't know why I dropped out. I went back to work, and it was about a month later. I come in, I just started the day. I just got out of my car and went in and sat down. I was probably firing the computer and stuff up, and I knew, I just felt it. I yelled out to her, call 911 again, and I hit the floor, and the superintendent come in, saw me on the floor, and everybody told me that they all thought I was dead. I wasn't breathing or nothing. Superintendent, they said he went out front and puked in the parking lot. But there again, I woke up in the ambulance on the way in. They still have no idea why. So I've had a couple times where I thought it was coming, but I was able to just sit down and breathe and work my way through it and not move, not use any energy, and I got through them. So I haven't had another episode like that, but bad. Not fun to wake up in a different place from where you knew you were. And luckily, the medics got there. They were getting ready to shock me with an IED. IED? Is that it? AED. Yeah, don't use an IED on me, please. It was I think it was an AED, the defibrillators. No IEDs, please. So, and then everybody can tell I'm blind. This eye's blind right here, so it goes off and does its own thing. So I'm just a wreck. Yep. Like me, run yourself into the ground. Alright, well, I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going to go ahead, and the wife will be getting back home soon, so I'm going to try to do one of these at least once a week. I was planning on doing it like on Mondays, but you know, going to kind of depend on when I have something to actually put up. Say, you know, I want to have some kind of content on here for you, but I'm going to try to do one a week until I get more used to it and everything gets to flowing better. And I appreciate all the comments you guys put in my chat and in any of my videos or anything. If you have any ideas or thoughts or things that I can do to improve it, I certainly appreciate all that. And so I'm going to get out of here and let you guys get off and do your dinners or whatever you got to do. Robbie, you can go play with that grandbaby. And I will catch all you guys tomorrow in the hangout, and we'll have some more fun. Maybe we'll agitate Mike with his robot voice again or something. If he hasn't give up on it. I swear I've laughed so hard in the last couple days over that robot voice. So anyway, you guys all have a wonderful night, and I will see you again probably tomorrow. Take care.